Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday evening to you all. Hope you guys have had a great week out there, having a great start to your weekend. Got you a quick update tonight. Not going to hold you guys up very long. We're pretty much done talking about Nicole. If I'm leaving you folks hanging in the Northeast, I do apologize, but I'm just expecting heavy rain to continue throughout the overnight hours, and the winds probably along Long Island, far southern New England, and southeast Mass, and just those favorite areas that normally get hit really hard when there's a nor'easter. It's going to be some gusty winds overnight into tomorrow morning. So certainly just, you guys know about nor'easterns. You certainly know about those 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, whether it's snow, whether it's a wind-driven rain. Just stay safe tonight. Tornado threat's pretty much done. There was a few tornadoes in Virginia today, but not really hearing any reports of any damage. Definitely no loss of life or anything like that. So really the topic tonight is really going to be about a little system that's going to swing through basically a decent amount of area overnight into tomorrow morning. It's moving very quickly, and it could drop. Not substantial snow, but it could drop certainly some accumulating snow across certain areas. We'll talk about that because that's kind of the now thing that's unfolding right now in areas of Oklahoma and Arkansas and Missouri. And then we'll get to just take a look at, the GFS, the European, and talk about a couple things that I'm starting to see in the medium to long range. I'm expecting a pretty active pattern setting up, maybe in the form of winter weather for certain areas. I'm not talking about, the southeast necessarily, but we're going to talk about some things here. If you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you ever thought about joining the channel, guys, it's an awesome way to support what I do. I'm currently at around 17 members. I was almost at 20, but of course, people's got definitely other things financially to do besides pay some person on YouTube monthly. But it definitely helps out monthly and just with what I do and as far as supporting the channel. If you guys got anything that I can pray over, then definitely put it in the comments. Gives me an opportunity to pray over it. Gives others an opportunity to do so too. Let's get rolling here. We're going to first talk about what's going on right now. Let's just take a look at the radar. This is the radar out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And check this out. It is snowing in Oklahoma City right now, guys. Now, this is the backside of the moisture, but you got some reports of some gravel, some flat out snow. It's pretty insane. Snow as far south as, I'm going to try to pronounce this name, Konawa, near Allen, this little town right here, Alda. You got snow reported this far south. I mean, it's almost very close to Texas, but that's certainly not all the way down to Texas. But, you got a sleet report all the way down here in Wilson, Oklahoma. So it's pretty impressive. This is beginning to move into areas of Arkansas, southwest Missouri. I'll be honest, it'd be nice to get a report out of the Springdale, Arkansas area. That's a bigger town in northwest Arkansas, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're seeing a little bit of sleet. I think temperatures in the upper 30s here. Fort Smith seeing a little bit of sleet. This will continue to unfold and amplify. The precipitation shield will grow overnight, and this will move in this general direction overnight. That's a terrible arrow. But cold air continues to settle in from the north, and with precipitation swinging in these areas, and then onward for Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, there's going to be a chance of some snow over the next several hours overnight into tomorrow morning. So let's go on and see what the HRRR model was showing. And as you can tell, we're starting off right now. The HRRR model verifying decently, but in general, obviously the blues, the snow, the pink is probably sleet in this case, certainly not freezing rain. But this is around 11 p.m., midnight to night. You got snow falling in northern sections of Arkansas, snow starting to move into sections of southeast Missouri. But the entire almost northern half, just the entire northern areas of Arkansas, it's snowing in the middle of the night tonight. And this will move into the Quad States region. Might start off as a rain-snow mix and then flip to all heavy snow. And guys, I'm telling you, you can't rule out a burst of heavy snow with this. I mean, you see the pinks showing up almost to the Arkansas, Mississippi State line. Will we get maybe a mixture of rain, snow all the way down to Memphis? If you're up early enough, maybe you can test the waters and see. If you're up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But I think certain areas of even far western Tennessee, if you're up at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning, especially around the 4 to 5 a.m. time frame, I certainly think far western areas of Tennessee and certainly western areas of Kentucky can see some snow. But I mean, I think if you're in this section of southeast Missouri, I think you could get a several hour period of some moderate to potentially heavy snow. Certainly maybe not substantially heavy snow, but certainly moderate snow is certainly possible. And then this will continue. Then the sun begins to rise on this area. And I mean, look at this. You got a rain snow line moving towards the east throughout western Tennessee. And I don't know if it'll quite make it to Nashville, but I certainly think you could get close if we continue to work into this area. And here comes the snow, rain, cold rain in some cases, and then a little bit of sleet and just a rain-snow mix in these areas. This is right around the sun is beginning to come up. It's snowing in sections of western Kentucky, even areas of western Tennessee still. And then a nice shield. It's plenty cold enough up here in southern areas of Indiana and Illinois just to be all snow. And this is where I think we could get maybe a quick inch and a half of snow. I certainly think it's very, very possible. But if you're right along or just north of the rain snow line where the precipitation is the heaviest here in Kentucky, I think you could be in for a surprise. We're starting to get towards the excuse me, the 7 to 8, 9 a.m. time frame. And I mean, look at this dark blue showing up in northern Kentucky. And just a pretty solid shield of light to moderate snow and basically the entire southern half of Indiana. And then we're starting to get to about mid-morning at this point. And then watch out, the Ohio State, who are they playing? I believe they're playing Indiana. The Ohio State-Indiana game is being played in Columbus. I think it could be a snow game. Not talking about a raging snowstorm, but a band of snow moves through these areas. Here it goes. Moving through these areas right around lunchtime, which is the start of the game. At the same time, you got the lake effect snow bands kicking up. I think for Big Ten football, we could certainly see some snow games tomorrow. Even in Michigan, I think Michigan's playing Navy. So if you like a good snow game, you ain't got much to do tomorrow. I know I do. I know a lot of people probably do along the eastern U.S. with the gusty winds brought from the cold. That it's probably just blowing leaves and small tree branches everywhere. I know I got a lot of leaf blowing to do tomorrow and just tidying up outside the house. But if you ain't got much to do, sit back and watch you some snow games. And I really think this could be a burst of heavy snow. We actually have to switch to the GFS in this case. But in general, you see the idea of some nice snow moving through Ohio, right in the middle of Ohio. And then, you know, we start getting to the evening hours, maybe some rain flipping to a brief burst of snow for Pittsburgh. And then after that, you could just get snow showers Saturday evening. And really, these are just kind of sparked off the Great Lakes here. And then that's when, most likely, if we switch this to, let's see, the Southern Apps here, this is when overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning, we could certainly see some a northwest flow all the way into the Tennessee, North Carolina mountains. In fact, I do think we will. I think we can get a dusting to a couple inches in certain areas. As far as snowfall for this quick hitting snow event overnight into tomorrow morning, the National Weather Service doesn't like Ohio much getting snow, and I really think it's probably because it's going to fall in the middle of the day tomorrow. But overnight tonight, I mean, that's pretty aggressive for the National Weather Service. You know, certain area, half an inch, close to an inch in certain areas showing up. If you look at the national blend of all models, which I always like to look at, it's very aggressive. Certain areas in Kentucky picking up, you know, a half inch to an inch and a half of snow. Also, Missouri showing up. You know, you see some 1.3s, 1.1s here. You could probably cut these totals by at least 25 to 30% just due to warm grounds. But in general, you know, I think someone could definitely squeeze out a quick inch in these somewhere in this area. I do. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that, guys. Still coughing on just a little bit. But this will be a nice surprise for certain people. Hopefully you guys are expecting it, but if you're down for an early season snowfall event, right behind this cold front, this could be one. But looking ahead, guys, if you don't want to stay up for this, here comes our first system, right? And this is just one run of the GFS. That run gets on through. You see the northwest flows kicking up for the Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina, Tennessee mountains, and the Great Lakes snows kicking off. Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Huron, all those Erie. You watch another system that pops off here, and this is for Monday evening. More snow for Oklahoma City again, areas of Kansas, maybe northern Arkansas. We watch Missouri sometime Monday into Tuesday morning. If the GFS is correct, watch out for a snow event. And then the Ohio Valley, and for Chicago, Detroit, Columbus, we could get a snow event from this. So low pressure pops off here, and then that's it. And then one thing I'm noticing, guys, is the cold air is actually trending a little bit further east. I'll show you that on the EPS ensembles here in a second, but this is the newest one. Thursday afternoon, it shows a southern slider setting up in November. If we were getting this in December, January, or February, if this actually was to happen, I think this would be a southern snow right here. But, I mean, look at this. You got cold air around. You see the 540 line right here. That's just basically think of that as cold air is really close by. Look at these blues showing up. Way down here in Texas, you got a little blue right here showing up. This is a cold rain setting up. I mean, guys, this is inside 6 days. So we got to watch to see if this keeps coming up. And I know you're thinking, well, I still see all rain here, but there is cold air very close by. In fact, you go another frame, you see this blue showing up in the triangle of North Carolina. This low pressure is a very favorable track. And then you got wet snow on the far northern fringe of this precipitation shield in Virginia, Boone, places like that. And, that is just your perfect track for a winter storm if it was in December, January, or February for sure. But then, cold air oozing in, and we just got to watch the pattern, guys. Very aggressive looking pattern, amplified pattern. If you look at the European, shows that first system, and then here comes the second system, but it's much further north. It's a warmer run, but the Euro does have a warm bias, but would bring still a nice little snow event, early season snow event for Chicago and the upper Midwest. And then this will move through maybe a snow event for northern Pennsylvania, New York State. So these models are still everywhere. Could be a nice interior snowfall for the Northeast if the Euro's right. Then you got a nice little clipper or something that moves through here, the Ohio Valley, sometime next week. And you see the energy down here that the GFS is showing, but it never really gets going. And I think it's just because it gets suppressed. But then you got two pieces of energy that get very close to connecting here. And so in general, very active stuff showing up here. But we have to get some consistency with the models. But one thing we're seeing is a lot of energy flying around inside day 7. So it's not like we're searching for this at day 10 and after. I mean, it's right around the corner, really. EPS ensembles, remember the oranges or reds is ridging, the blues troughing or just cut off lows, low pressures, upper level lows. Here comes our first trough. This cools us down for the entire central and eastern U.S. Central stays cold. Another trough digs in here. But one thing we're watching is a bigger shot of cold air sometime late next week, around this time next week. Tall ridge builds up in northwest Canada and Alaska. And this just opens the door for a cross-polar flow, big-time troughing, amplified storm pattern with a southern jet setting up here on the base of this trough. So you're going to have cold air around. You're going to have a pattern that supports an amplified pattern that supports a lot of short waves or just pieces of energy flying the base of this trough. Therefore, you could have early season November winter weather for a lot of folks. And it's certainly something to watch out for. So that's all I got, guys. We'll get much more detailed about that this weekend. This will be a big topic over the next foreseeable future. So if you're a cold weather, winter weather fan, you'll enjoy the next several days, honestly. That's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless and have a great start to your weekend.